Hello, this is Yao here. This project, titled Modeling Sea Level Rise Flooding on a Great Terrain, aims at improving methods and tools used to delineate sea floods, sea level rise flood area. Climate change, among other factors, contribute to sea level rise as long-term flooding as opposed to short-term post-flood events that depend mostly on surface rafting. It is projected that in the next century, sea level rise will be several times higher than that measured over the past century. Our study area is the west coast of the Calvert County in Maryland. Calvert County has a population of 90,613 and an area of 893.74 kilometers, square kilometers. So why are we interested in fine-tuning or improving the methods that are used to really simulate or forecast the sea level rise flood area? Because according to Nichols and all, nearly 1/4 of the world population live at elevation below 100 meters and within 100 kilometers from coast. And also, according to Gessler and Cairns, in the year 2100, 1/5 of the world population, that is 2 billion people, could become a sea level rise refugees. So we can clearly envision the social, economical, and environmental risks that a sea level rise can cause. So what was done already about sea level rise? There are several approaches to choose to sea level rise, but they can be categorized in two groups. The first group is the one we know like a zero-based rule, zero-based size technique, which is the bathtub approach. The bathtub approach was used by Moorhead and Brisson in the Westland to study the Westland response to sea level rise in the lower coastal plain of North Carolina. So in the bathtub approach, any land cell that have an elevation which is less or equal to the sea level rise is considered to be flooded or potentially can be flooded. So the bathtub approach doesn't consider the water connectivity. So other researchers such as Porter argue that the bathtub approach is not accurate as it estimates the number of land that can be flooded. So the key challenge for those methods is the accuracies and the speed, how fast they run, how those methods can give a large amount of the data set. Those are the key challenges that we try to address in this project. So our data set, we have a data set is a digital elevation model data from Calvert County. So we're going to be using two subsets of that data. So one subset have over 97 billion of cells, among which 45 million are line cells. The other subset that we're going to use have 37, almost 38 million of cells with 20 million line cells. So what's the challenge that we have to address with this data? So the challenge with all those data that we have is first how we load the data into the memory, and then how we go through the data to find those cells that can be flooded, that are called here floodable land. Okay, so our approach consider the water connectivity in the sense that this approach try to find the cells that are connected directly or indirectly to any water. right? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna use a Dijkstra graph traversal algorithm. So we're gonna start with a floatable land cell, which is a land that is connected to the ocean. So we're gonna take all those floatable land cells, we're gonna put them into all those into a list, and then from that list we're gonna take them one by one and find find all of the neighbors that have elevation less than the sea level rise. So any neighbor, including the front nodes, are now considered to be flooded. So we're gonna repeat the process until we go through all the front nodes. So this is how the algorithm works. If you see here, the blue cell are the ocean and the white one are the land cell. So the first step of the algorithm is to find all the front node or innovation. Those are the cells that are directly connected to the ocean cells. So the next step we're gonna take, the first one we enter into the list, which is this one right here, and then we're gonna flag it as a flooded, and we're gonna find his next neighbor. Right, so this one now is flooded as the color change, and then we find the next one, and the next one, the cell below is flagged as flooded also. So that's basically the algorithm. So the data structure that we're going to be using for this algorithm is a mini heap. Mini heaps is basically a priority key algorithm that is based in binary tree. So why we want a mini heap? Because when we put our data into the list, we have to compare all the time the data to find the lowest elevation. So we might end up with a quadratic runtime, so which we don't want. So we want to use a binary heap, because binary heap, the insertion in binary heap is O log n, and the removal from binary heap is O log n. So this is an example of binary in the binary heap. In the binary heap, all the parent node have a key that is less or equal to the children's key. So that's an example of binary. So in our example, when we run our example, we run it for we run it for 37 cell, almost 38 million cell with a 20 million lane cell. So this is our result. We got our average runtime was 23 seconds for the bathtub approach, and we have 9,500,000 cell which are floated. And when we run it for mini heap, the average runtime is 120 seconds, and with number of flooded cell 3 million, almost 4 million. So our machine, we're using Dell Experience machine with 8.4 CPU gigahertz, Intel 7 and 2 gigabyte RAM. So if we see here, we can see that the picture on the left is the initial condition of the land. The blue cell are the ocean, and the land is in the gray shaded with different elevation. So when we run the algorithm for 3 feet sea level, we see that many portions of the land are now flooded. So here we're showing a comparison of how the algorithms run and how the bathtub algorithm run started with 22 seconds for any level of sea level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sea level rise, and the mean heap is increase from 100 to 240 something. Here we're showing the error percentage of the bathtub approach. The bathtub approach is very error prone. For the sea level rise from 1 up to 6 feet, it has 15% error percentage. So for the conclusion of this study, the bathtub approach is simple and has a better runtime, but is less accurate for small sea level rise. The mean heap run time is fairly good. Million of cell processed under 3 minutes. The mean heap performance can be improved by using K-Array heap, which is going to reduce the insertion time and the deleting time. So also new NumPy array can also help reducing the run time. Thank you.